Good morning and welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 to 9 a.m. to help small businesses. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments of the live feed. If you need any more advice, you can join the official Untitled QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, where the accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. During the live session, we will be running a poll, so please do engage with it and I'll reveal the results at the end. On the 3rd of March, you can attend Intuit QuickBooks virtual event called QuickBooks Connect. This virtual event brings entrepreneurs, small business owners, and accountants together to grow, learn, and connect with each other. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Eva Mrazikova, and I am licensed accountant and accountancy market specialist at IRIS. I have over 15 years of experience within bookkeeping, payroll, and the VAT legislation. I also specialize in digital onboarding and automatization. So I would have been helping clients to adopt digital record keeping, such as QuickBooks, obviously, and kind of trying to help them with their processes and being more efficient as well. I would like to mention few things. One of the first one is probably obvious one, and it is self-assessment. So as you know, we had deadline extended until the end of February, but hopefully all of you know now that the interest for the tax payable is starting to accrue from the 1st of February. So really there isn't really point to delay unless you absolutely have to. But for most of us who have the self-assessment done, I think this is now the perfect time to reflect and to think about how you're feeling now, how you're feeling about what you've done, whether you learned something about yourself, whether you could have done something better or differently, and try not to put it aside and say, okay, I'll deal with this next year or maybe in November, December. No, this is the time because you still feel maybe the pain if things were painful, or you feel the joy. So you need to act now. So I would encourage you to ask yourself questions such as how good are your records and how well organized you are. So obviously, you know, you can answer this for yourself. And based on the answer you give yourself, you know whether you need to improve, whether you need to maybe invest in a bit of digital record keeping software, or maybe you need to be organized to record things on a regular basis rather than once a month. So those are all things, and give them yourself as a homework. Also, one of the things that can kind of show you how much you clued in and know about your business, when you compare the estimates you did and how much actually the figure were. So if you were like completely out of the line, again, that would suggest you're not really well clued in, or you're not really up to date. Your feelings are not up to date with where your business is. And also important, because the accountants did tremendous jobs this year, and really well done to all my colleagues. It was one of the most challenging years. So ask yourself whether, if accountant was preparing your tax return, were you helpful? Was something that you could have delivered better, or maybe not last minute? Did you provide the information they asked for all at once, or did you drip feed your accountant? Because this is a nightmare for accountants. So maybe get in touch with your accountant and try to talk to them now about what you want to do for the next year, and kind of try to put things in place. And also think about how easy was this year comparing to last year. Easy, I'm kind of putting inverted commas, because this year was in many ways very challenging, but also maybe you had more time to prepare and you didn't use it. And questions for the accountants: how smooth was your process this year? Did you take the utmost advantage from the digitalization and automatization? You can answer yourself and try to prepare better for next year. I'd like to mention a few things about the Kickstart scheme, where this is funding for the employers to create job placements for 16 to 24 years old who are on universal credit, who would be facing otherwise long-term unemployment. So the minimum of 30 job placements has been taken away. So it kind of gives more people opportunity to do this. Covers 100% of national minimum wage and national living wage for 25 hours per week for the 6 months, and also covers employer national insurance number. So you can apply through the usual channel, through gateways and local authority or chambers of commerce. So just do your research a bit, but you have many options to apply. And the last thing I want to talk about is how to scale up your business now in difficult times, but overall as well, because the businesses had to adapt, had to change quite a lot. So I have kind of top 10, I would call them, that you should consider if you are thinking about scaling up your business. First one is focus on what you want to be, not what you are now. This is encouraging you to have a long-term view of where you want to be, maybe in 3 years or 5 years, and work towards it rather than fixing on what is now, or I don't have this now. You should try to figure out how to get there where you want to be and plan it. The second point is make sure you're ready and prepared for the growth. It sounds maybe silly, but sometimes we want to grow, we want to scale up, and when it hits us, we're not prepared. We don't have enough cash flow, we don't have enough resources to cover and things like that. So be prepared, don't be surprised, because when the opportunity will come, you might not be ready to take it. That would be a big shame. Look at your competitors, learn from them. I'm thinking about competitors who successfully grown. So look at how they done it and how can you transpire it in your business. Protect your business is the other one, very important one. What I mean by that, make sure you have all relevant insurances in place, protections, covers, because you never know what's going to happen. And the last thing is that as a result of some event, you're not able to trade, or you are not able to continue doing what you want to do. Another one is build a great team of employees by being a great leader who always supports his team. If people will know that you have their back, they will be loyal to your business. They will always try to do your best. If you set up the path for them to succeed, it will be much easier for them to do that. So show a great leadership in this. Also important is to have rules and procedures to be followed, so everyone is on the same page. What it means that not only you in your head need to know what you want to do and where you want to be, where you want to go, but all your team members need to know that as well. It's important that you are able to interpret the message to the whole base of your team, so you are all on the same page. Another one is maybe a little bit controversial sometimes, but think about it. Access outside expertise when required. What I mean by that, sometimes it's better to go and outsource a job rather than having to employ someone, especially if those jobs are kind of very specific or require quite high expertise, because sometimes the cost of you hiring someone, training someone, employing them might outweigh the benefit of actually having them employed, and you should reach maybe to outsourcing. Another one is never compromise on quality or consistency. So don't be like saying yes all the time or take everything on you if you don't have a capacity to do it, because you want to deliver the same standard for every customer. Don't compromise on this, because this will damage you in the long term. The point 9 is identify your barriers to growth. So each business will have their own barriers. Maybe they're not enough digitalized. Maybe they need to be able to set all the employees to work from home for them to be more productive and attract talent from elsewhere rather than just people who are able to commute. So each business will have their own barriers. Think about them and how can you remove those barriers. The last one, which is kind of maybe playing a bit of a wizard or looking at the magic ball, but try to predict the future. And what I mean by that, make sure you constantly update in your cash flow forecasts, your budgets, look at your business plan and make sure it's updated and then it's in line with what you want to achieve. So make sure you do that, so it doesn't happen at any point in time that suddenly you are out of cash or you out of resources to provide. So try to always, this is never ending game, because you're always trying to predict what's going to happen so that you can adapt to it at least a little bit before it happens. This is all from me, and I'm now going to start taking questions. There is already so many of them. Thank you all for tuning in. So I have the first question from Pamela from Instagram. I have a question related to filing my self-assessment for the bank interest section. How do you know what is taxed and what is untaxed? Thank you. Hi, Pamela. So usually when you are getting interest paid, those institutions who pay you the interest send you usually after the tax year end, so we're talking after the 5th of April, they will send you a kind of like certificate, tax certificate, where it shows you how much they paid you and if it was gross or net interest. Usually that's what happens. So I would, if you didn't get anything, I would probably assume it's going to be gross interest you got paid, but that's not always 100%. Maybe contact your bank to check, but they always, when they write into you with this certificate, they will say, please use this for your self-assessment. So maybe you got it in the post in the past. If not, I would check. Usually you get this tax certificate for this. Hopefully this answered your question. Iman from Facebook Messenger. If I take on 2 young people from the Kickstarter scheme, will I, as a business owner, get paid from government? I think you get the sum on the apprenticeship scheme. Iman, thank you for your question. And yes, you kind of dive into 2 areas. So Kickstart scheme that I mentioned, which is for funding for job placement for 16 to 24 years old who are on universal credit, who otherwise would be risking long-term unemployment. So that's the Kickstart scheme. The apprenticeship scheme is a little bit different, and it is different in that you have to have a proper apprentice that you're taking on. And yes, the rules changed a bit for the apprenticeship scheme. they extended the incentive payments, where you are eligible if you take on new apprentice from the 1st of August, between 1st of August 2020 until 31st of March 2021. If you take on a new apprentice between this month, so 1st of February, you can apply for the incentive between 1st of February 2021 and 30th of April. So those, but they have to be legitimate apprentice. They have to have this title. Usually they would be in some kind of college or higher education where they would be in the apprenticeship scheme. Now then, depending on how old the people are, so from 16 to 24, employers will receive £2,000, and for 25 years and over, employers will receive £1,500. This is on top of the usual payment of £1,000. So you need to make sure you understand the difference between those two. I'm hoping this answered your question, and good luck with that. Nell from Facebook Messenger. In the self-assessment, do I need to declare any interest I received on my ISA on my tax return? So if it's ISA, those are tax-free. So my assumption is that in this case, you don't need to declare, because those savings are classed as tax-free. Obviously, there are limits that you can put money in it. So no, I don't think you need to declare it on your tax return. Alexander from Facebook Live. I have set up my own business during the pandemic. I have taken advice from an accountant that I need to produce my accounts in 2022. What information will I need to produce for them if I do it myself? Hi, Alexander. Well done for the brave decision to set up business during the pandemic. So if your accountants told you that you need to produce your accounts in 2022, I'm going to assume that you have set up your business after the 5th of April 2020, which would mean that your deadline for your tax return is 31st of January 2022. So what information do you need? So anything you spend and anything that you even spend before setting up your business, because as a startup, when you're starting up your business, you can go back 7 years in order to claim expenses that helped you to set up your business as it is now. Now, first thing what I would recommend is for you to invest in your business the way that you buy digital piece of digital accounting software. Obviously, sign up for QuickBooks, cloud-based digital bookkeeping accounting software, which you can access anytime from anywhere you have internet connection, and start recording things now. So obviously, if you didn't record until now, you do have some time to catch up on. So I would encourage you to do it now. The reason I'm saying, usually what I would recommend when we have people coming to us starting new business, we get them to set up straight away, because then you don't have to really do a catch up. So make sure you record all your expenses. Obviously, there is difference between expenses and capital expenses. So I'm not sure how familiar are with those. Maybe you will need, at least for a first year, help of accountant who is going to help you to navigate you and tell you which way, what is expense, what is capital expense. And then also you need to be able to record every sale, every service or every product you sell to your customers. You should have invoice for it or a sales receipt. So you need to record those things as well. The other thing what I would recommend strongly is to set up business bank account. because as accountants, we are facing many times with people, self-employed people mainly, who have their business and they are using one bank account for their private and for their business expenses. So it sometimes can get a little bit messy. You can deal with it, but sometimes it can get a little bit messy. And if you want things to have clear cut, set up proper business account just for your business. So I think this is kind of what you would need at the start. And then obviously I would encourage you to record all your plant, equipment, machinery, computer, make a list of all your things, of all your assets that you have. Also a good idea would be to connect with the live feeds from the bank, if you have online banking, that you can connect with QuickBooks, for example, and the bank statements lines can be pushed directly into the software. So you eliminating the need for manual input. So I think this is for the start. This was quite wide question, so I'm giving a little bit wider answer than usually. But if you don't know much, I would encourage you to go and speak to the accountant, so you are set up right, rather than bringing them messy things a couple of years down the line. But I wish you the best of luck, Alexandra. Madison from Twitter. Hi, Eva. Do job placements created with Kickstart scheme funding have to be new jobs, or can they be used for old vacancies? So those job placements, it's not in its sense as a normal job. It's a placement. So yes, if you have a position where your business would benefit from taking someone on the job placement, and they would benefit from coming into job placement by learning about the job, learning how it works in that specific business, then they can be used. So you need to think about what you're trying to do, because the job placement, it's not like proper contract of employment as such, in my view. So you need to make sure that you know what you want by. So this is kind of encouraging employers to support those young people, give them job placement so they can get experience, so they are more employable in the future as a result of that experience. So you need to think about what exactly you're trying to achieve with this. It's brilliant that you want to help young people, but it has to make sense. It has to have its purpose as a job placement. Hopefully this answered your question. Harry from Instagram. Eva, good morning. What if I can't afford to pay my tax bill? What should be my immediate plan of action? Any tips? Good morning, Harry. Just to encourage you, you are not on your own with this. There are many people, and especially this year, in the same position. So the first thing I would, if I would be you, speak to your accountant. If you don't have an accountant, you need to ring HMRC. If you find online self-assessment helpline or self-assessment time to pay, if you Google it, and speak to them now. Don't be many people, what they do, they bury their heads in the sand. That's the worst thing you can do. If you will ring HMRC now, you will be able to set up a payment plan based on how much you are able to afford to pay on a monthly basis. You can agree this with them. Usually the interest still applies, but it's not a huge amount, but it gives you a bit of a breather, and it means HMRC won't be coming after you and asking you constantly to pay, because you will have a payment plan set up. So this is crucial. Do it today. I would do it today. If you have your self-assessment tax return submitted, you know your liability, do it today. Ring them and tell them, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not able to pay a full amount. Can we agree some kind of payment plan? And you need to think about what's comfortable for you, how much comfortable for you is to pay in a month. Obviously, you have to be reasonable. They're not going to give you like 5 years to repay. Okay, we have to be reasonable. But kind of think about what would be the agreeable figure. Go into that with that, and maybe there will be a bit of negotiation. Obviously, HMRC will try to help. I find them quite supportive now with this payments plan, but you need to be realistic as well. Hopefully this answered your question. Annika from Facebook Messenger. I have a level 4 AAT. How valuable is for me to get further education in accounting? Hi, Annika. Thank you for your question. So you have the highest level of AAT by level 4, and well done for achieving that. That really depends what you would like to do. So if you want to be or work into positions in the future which require having chartered accountants qualification, you can kind of go through the route of ACCA, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, or so this would be, depending, I was thinking Northern Ireland, but that probably is not going to apply to you. So yes, you can. So you will not have to, if you sign up as a student, you will not have to do all the exams because you already did some exams. So they will give you exemptions, and then you will just have to do some final or professional exams to get the ACCA or ACA title as a chartered accountant. So definitely, if you, and also you probably want to ask yourself how much you want to earn, and because obviously the chartered probably would be earning a little bit more, but it is a hard work, let me assure you. So you need to kind of think in your head where you want to be. What would you like to do, whether you would like to be financial controller or management accountant, or you're happy just to do a bookkeeping, things like that. So that would help you. Hopefully this answered your question. I have a last question, which I'm going to quickly reply. What's the difference, Alexander from Facebook, what's the difference between expenses and capital expenses? So you probably, Alexander, going back to my previous comment, very good question. Just making sure I know it. So usually the expense, if I'm going to compare, for example, you have office expenses, so all your paper or toner for the printer or pens, those will be expenses. Those kind of have a lower value usually, and you kind of recurrent in buying. Your capital expense would be something that has longer longevity, it's lasting longer. And those would be things, if I'm using the same scenario, so those would be the things like your printer, like your computer. So and the treatment is different because expense, it's going against your profit and loss, so you kind of take in tax advantage immediately. But capital expenses, it takes few years for you, and you claims through capital allowances. So those are the different. I'm conscious we're running out of the time, but please do get in touch if you need any more advice. I would like to announce the poll results. So we have asked you, have you pivoted your business in the last year? 40% of you said yes, and 60% of you answered no. Thank you very much for participating in the poll, and I'm intrigued by those 40%. It's a very good number, guys, because it's not something that is easy to try to pivot your business. To those 60%, I would just say, when you answered no, why? You don't know how to do it, or you're scared to do it, or you don't need to do it. If you don't know how to do it or you're scared, I would encourage you to look and research and try to help yourself as much as you can if it's something that you think would benefit from. But well done to all of those 40%. That's encouraging. So that's all from me, guys. As always, amazing questions. Thank you so much, and thank you for waking up and tuning in into those sessions. It's a privilege for me to be here. I really appreciate all of your questions and hope they were helpful to you. If you have any more questions, please get in touch with myself through LinkedIn, Eva Mrazikova, you will find me there. And coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is Paul Landau, who is the founder and CEO of Careology, a business with the purpose to create more updates for everyone living and dealing with cancer. Tune in to learn how Paul built businesses to improve health outcomes through digital and data. And please don't forget to join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, and also register for QuickBooks Connect, in which I will participate as well. And you can find the link to join QuickBooks Connect in the comments. As I said, I've really enjoyed answering your questions this morning. As it's Monday, I wish you great, successful, happy and healthy week, and please stay safe. See you again.